Today we're checking out the new Galaxy Z Flip 5. So this will be my first foldable phone. It's got a 6.7-inch dynamic AMOLED 2X display, up to 120 Hz refresh rate, 1750 nits peak brightness, also has a 3.4-inch Super AMOLED display on the outside at 720 by 748 resolution, also has a 3700 milliamp hour battery, so I'm curious to see what the battery life is on here. It's got the Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 processor, it's got 8 gigabytes of RAM, whether you go with 256 or 512 gigabytes. I had the free storage upgrade, so I figured, hey, why not? And there's quite a few color options on this: gray, blue, green, yellow, mint, cream, lavender, and the one shown here is graphite. Has up to 25 watts wired charging, 15 watts if you use the wireless charging. Software wise, comes with Android 13, One UI 5.1.1. Inside the box, you've got your SIM card removal tool, quick start guide and terms and conditions, USB-C to USB-C charging cable. Okay, it has a little bit of weight to it. Definitely lighter than my S23 Ultra. Unfortunately, no wall adapter with this one. Okay, really nice design on here. Nice graphite color, sort of a dark gray. And then you can just barely see where the screen is up top. Power and volume buttons over on the right hand side. SIM card tray there on the left. Charging port there on the bottom. And your bottom firing speaker. Now, if you look at the screen here on the inside, you can definitely tell where there's a crease there on the screen itself, especially when the light hits it just right. Sort of crazy how small this gets once you fold it. Samsung logo there on the hinge. The hinge itself feels super heavy duty on here. I know some people might be concerned at the thickness of this phone once it's folded, but when you compare this to my wife's Pixel 7 Pro that has the case on, looks like it's gonna be just a little bit thicker than that, so I don't think it's gonna be that big of an issue. Fairly slim bezels on here. Hole punch style front facing camera there in the center at the top. When setting up, you've got face recognition, fingerprints, PIN, password, and pattern. Pretty simple to set up your fingerprint scanner there on the power button. Of course, you can choose between light or dark theme on here. Okay, pretty nice wallpaper on here. Somewhat similar to my S23 Ultra, a little bit different though. Here's a quick size comparison next to the S23 Ultra. Actually very comparable, just not quite as wide, and it's quite a bit lighter. Now it is a little bit different feeling that crease as you run your finger across the screen. Software wise on here, it looks very similar to other Galaxy devices that I've used. Swipe up to get access to all of your apps. There's a handful from Google, some Microsoft, and then of course Samsung. Looks like you've got a couple extras here like Netflix, Spotify, Facebook as well. Left of the home screen, you've got the choice of Google Discover Newsfeed or Samsung News. Looks like you've got most of your typical stuff like link to Windows, power saving, airplane mode, flashlight, mobile data, mobile hotspot, quick share, smart view, nearby share, eye comfort shield, dark mode, multi-control, scan QR code. You can also add about 24 other shortcuts up here at the top, from Dolby Atmos, wireless power share, secure folder, always on display, camera access, take screenshot, NFC, and so on. And then of course your edge panel over here with all your shortcuts, which you can add pretty much any app over there to make it a little bit easier to access. When you close it, it looks like you've just got your always on display. If you go into settings and go down to cover screen, here's where you control everything that's on the outside screen. You've got show notifications, turn on screen for notifications, quick responses. You can adjust the screen timeout from 5 seconds up to 30 seconds. Looks like you've got quite a few widgets you can use on there as well. Calendar, weather, recent calls, direct dial, alarm, stopwatch, timer, steps, SmartThings scenes, finance watch list, and daily activity. You can also change the design on here. Looks like you've got a few different options here to choose from. You could also use images from your gallery, graphical items, informative presets. They've got simple and then colors as well. You can adjust the clock on there as well, what kind of font you want to use. So quite a few things to play around with on that outside screen. And then to sort of wake it up, you just double tap it. You've got your camera shortcut there as well. And then if you unlock it, you can see all of your widgets. If you pinch the cover screen, you can see all of your widgets and then just tap the one you need. Swipe up to go to the home screen. Notifications are there to the left. You've also got some shortcuts up here at the top. You can also adjust the screen brightness. Definitely going to be a little bit different than using my S23 Ultra. I was kind of curious, can you close this just using one hand? And yeah, looks like you can without too much effort. Now this thing is a fingerprint magnet, not only on the glass back, but on the edges, pretty much everywhere. So I'll definitely have to look at getting a case for this. Now performance-wise, this is fairly close to my S23 Ultra, at least in single and multi-core scores. Lower on compute scores though. Playing games like PUBG Mobile on HDR graphics and extreme frame rates, the phone does get a little warm on the back, but not too bad. And unlike my S23 Ultra, I can actually use my Razer controller when playing games like Asphalt 9. So I feel like most people will enjoy playing games on here. So I might like playing games on this one better than my S23 Ultra. Plus it's easier to handle and lighter weight. I also ran my typical battery drain test at 100% screen brightness, and it lasted about 12.5 hours before dying completely. So not quite as good as my S23 Ultra. I think that one was closer to 16 hours, but still really good for a smartphone this thin. I was not expecting it to last this long. But of course we'll see how it goes once I start using this as my daily driver for a while. It's also nice you can charge this whether it's closed or open. Now the speakers on here, definitely not as loud as my S23 Ultra, but not bad I guess. I kind of figured they would be a little less considering there's just not as much space inside the phone with it folding. Cameras on here, you've got a 12 megapixel wide angle and 12 megapixel ultra wide there on the back, 10 megapixel wide angle lens on the front facing camera. Up to 4K 60 frames per second for video recording. Inside the camera app, very similar to other Galaxy phones, you've got portrait, photo, video. Under more, you've got Pro video, single take, night, food, panorama, super slow-mo, slow motion, hyperlapse, portrait video, director's view, Bixby Vision, and AR zone as well. Pretty fast shutter speed on here. Kind of tough to tell here in my studio lighting because most photos look good. Here's a few samples of photo and video just to give you an idea of what to expect on the Z Flip 5. So as you can see, pretty impressive photo and video quality in my opinion. Sure, you don't get the ultra telephoto zoom. Sure, you don't get the telephoto zoom from the S23 Ultra, but we'll see if I actually miss that or not. I feel like the camera quality is actually plenty good enough for me. Feels like flagship quality so far. I'll definitely have to do an update video later on to see how things are going, but so far I'm pretty impressed with this little phone. I'm keeping the S23 Ultra for now, just in case I want to switch back, but I have a feeling I'm gonna like this one after using it more. So if you've made it this far into the video, you may want to say thanks by subscribing, and don't forget to give a thumbs up if this video was helpful. This is Brian from Fishbee Productions. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.